Well, hello to you. Welcome to Uncovering Authenticity, where I talk to real people who have really amazing and incredible stories. And today I am super excited to have in the studio Carl and Heidi from Exceptional Flavours. Welcome to the podcast. I feel like I should have I always say this, a big Oprah style live audience here, because I'm so excited to have you here. And I want everybody else to get excited because your story is pretty amazing. So Heidi, Carl, tell me about you. What brought you both to New Zealand?
Change of lifestyle.
Yeah?
Yep.
Change of life, just only that. Change of lifestyle. So not the beautiful scenery,
Absolutely.
the warmth of the Kiwi.
Absolutely.
Yeah, of course.
When you could have chosen any country in the world, though, why New Zealand?
That's a very difficult question, but it just felt right. From day one, it felt right.
That's a beautiful answer. Answer. So you've created the Exceptional Flavours business.
Yep.
How did that happen? I'm asking you good questions today, right?
Yeah.
We introduced a lot of our friends with
Start with the beers.
our beers, our cultural heritage, right? And some people said, yeah, you should do something with it. You should do something with it. And then we
Rolled into
first with the beers. But then after the beers, we ended up with spirits, which is really exciting and really challenging. And we understand the quality, understand how special those spirits are, and they're still to be discovered as well.
And especially those beers, because you can bring over any beers, but then you're just going to be another beer on the market.
Yes.
But these are so different. So that's why we want to bring something that for people who don't like beer.
A point of difference, absolutely.
And actually, this is what I noticed, because I did a sneaky tasting over the weekend, and I love beer and I love cider. I pretty much I don't discriminate when it comes to having a little tipple here and there. I do like them. What was so different is this product that we're gonna, because we'll talk about this first, the Lindeman's fruit beer. It's very different from fruit beers that I tried when I was living in the UK, and different too because it's like a cider, but it's got depth. So for anybody who doesn't like beer, this is absolutely the drink for them. And my understanding is that the brewing process with this product is really different, which is like I don't get hoppy flavours that I would get with normal beers. How is this product different?
Because they use 3-year-old hops. So they dried hops for 3 years before they use them.
Oh.
Which means no hoppy taste, just preserving the beer with those hops.
Wow. And from what I researched as well, the fermentation process is different. Is something different about the yeast, is that right?
So it's a spontaneous fermentation, so which means it's all airborne fermented, so no yeast added to the beers.
Wow.
And that's why it takes a long time to do the whole fermentation process.
How long does that process take?
So the total process takes 18 months to make the beers.
Oh, my goodness. And that's very different from what we were talking about just before with some other brands that we know of, which take, you said they were chemical fermenting or something like that? Mechanical fermenting? What do you used a term for it? Is it term?
They add yeast.
They add yeast.
They add a special type of yeast. And to make a lager, it takes six days. Wow. So when you compare that to a year and a half. Yes.
Yeah.
So how does that impact the flavour of the product?
So the last 6 months of the fermentation, that's a double fermentation. So after the first year, they add like the real fruit juice. And those sugars boost the second fermentation.
Gotcha.
Which means it's double fermented like a champagne, but without adding more yeast. It's with adding sugars that they boost that second fermentation.
Well, I just want to say you had me at champagne, but also that's great. Now, of course, everything I do is about storytelling. So there must be a story behind this product and that process. How has this process been going on for a long time?
So the base of the fruit beers is the lambic beer. And it all started in 1800, and they were all farmers, and they had farmlands, and in the winter they had not too much work to do. They had the grains. They fermented the grains and experimental making beer. But they forgot to add the yeast and they had an old bunch of hops. So they used dry old hops, and suddenly they saw that the beer started to ferment, which was a little bit unexpected.
Without adding the yeast.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
after some time, the whole valley, because it's just in one valley in Belgium,
In the whole world.
And the
That
whole
you can make
world.
it. Yeah. Yes.
and it's basically three specific airborne yeast that are different. That makes the difference, because there are airborne yeast everywhere. But those three airborne yeast, they make the difference. So in the whole valley started to brew lambic beer.
Wow, I had no idea it was like that.
Jesus.
I mean, I'd read that it was airborne yeast, and I thought, oh, that sounds a bit unusual. I've never heard of that before, but I didn't realise it was like that.
Yep.
It's
And
just
then
incredible.
After 1 year of fermentation, they added a fruit juice, and that was in the 70s. And because you add new sugars to the still existing vital yeasts, it's a boost, it's a second fermentation, and then after 6 months,
They pasteurize, it to be able to ship it. Yeah.
That's just incredible. So this was the first product that you brought into your company, right?
Yeah.
And so bringing a
beers,
little
yeah.
bit of your own heritage
Yep.
into New Zealand, which is great. And what's been the feedback about that product? I think it's fabulous. I loved it. It's amazing.
Yeah, women that don't like a beer, drink cider, they love it.
Yeah.
It's without yeast. I think cider is with yeast.
Yep.
It's less alcohol than a cider.
Yep.
And normally they are less sweet than a cider. Like the apple is a much more crisp than apple cider. Not as sweet as apple cider.
Sweet-sour balance. is-
Yeah, it is lovely. It is a
Yeah.
lovely product. That's fantastic. Not that I'm really allowed to give a shameless plug for where people can find it, but if people were to have a look online, what would be your website?
Just Exceptional Flavours.
Because that's what you stand for, right?
Yep.
Exceptional Flavours. So obviously that was the first part of your journey in creating that company. Then you've opened up and you sell the most gorgeous premium spirits as well.
Mm-hmm.
How did that journey happen for you? How did the company evolve?
So Lindemans decided together with Distiller De Moor to make a gin, to launch a new gin on the market. De Moor is the distiller. In Belgium, we only use grain-based alcohol,
Which is quite different, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
which I think is a smoother alcohol. And the joint venture between the brewery and the distillery is that the brewery supplies the first sour cherry beer to the distiller, and they distill the alcohol out of that. So 1/3 of that Lindemans gin, the alcohol is derived or distilled out of
The old way of brewing the beer.
fermenting right? And that was a real success when we started promoting that gin. I think we convinced the brewery to go to the award-winning contest.
To the world.
Yep.
And
World
from
Spirit
the first
Awards.
time they enrolled, we won World Silver Award, and the next year bronze.
Wow.
It's a layered gin. It means when you sip it with a dash of water, you get different flavors coming through, different botanicals coming through, and it
see-
happens every time again. It's just incredible. It's beautiful with gin tonic. It's beautiful with grapefruit tonic. Then it's more like a summery. It's
Yep.
So it's
a bit more like a
Cocktail.
cocktail
Yeah.
almost.
Yeah.
See, when you're talking about layered gin, I go way back with gin. I've been drinking gin. Sorry, I sound like I'm at the wrong event right now, but I'm not going to lie. I started drinking gin in my 20s. I love gin. And back in the day, it's not everybody was drinking RTDs. We'd just come out of drinking Miami wine cooler. But I loved gin. I thought there was something very cool about it. But I've never heard of a layered gin in all of my years. How does that happen? Is it to do with this distilling process, or is it some sort of magic? Good question, right?
Yeah.
And if you can't answer,
It's
that's
a
okay.
small,
but-
it's a small batch. It's vapor distilled. It's a small batch, but it's just the way it's being brought together with the herbs, with all the botanicals they use. But it happens people when we do a tasting, people just can't believe it, but it just happens. They get the botanical list, and on average we see most people they identify five, six of the botanicals. If you have chef cooks or Indian people, it's just incredible. They keep tasting the different botanicals.
Wow, so it's depending on the palate.
It's a little bit depending on the palate.
Yes, and of course what you've eaten, whether you've cleaned your teeth, how the wind is blowing. There could be so many factors, right, when it comes to gin tasting. Yeah. Again, I might be speaking from experience. Drink responsibly, everybody listening to this podcast. But the other thing that I wanted to ask you too is that you've gone from just gin into other beverages on your website. Tell us about those.
The next step was then from day one, we were interested to work together with Villiers Distillery. It's a distillery that started in 1880. Yeah, 1880. But the first contact was
they were not interested at first.
Really, at the time there was no interest from the distillery. The second time when they contacted, they were absolutely ready for export.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
And finally we could bring over the mother of the gin, which is Geneva.
I've seen that on your website.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. It is so versatile. It is beautiful. It is smooth. You can drink it straight. You can mix it with Sicilian lemonade, which is now available here, made in Auckland. Or you make wonderful cocktails with champagne and orange liqueur.
Oh, you had me again at champagne. I love it. I love that, but I love that there's a huge amount of heritage in all of these products as well.
All
I know
family businesses. Fifth, sixth generation.
Yeah. And Geneva goes back to 1300. The first time Geneva was distilled in the Low Countries.
Mentioned.
It's an appellation contrôlée. It means you can only distill it in one region. It's like champagne, only in the Champagne region. And it was the mother of the gin. It's the Dutch courage.
I love that.
It's what we gave the soldiers because we needed English soldiers to help us to get rid of a Spanish conqueror. And they all got a bottle belt with Geneva in it.
Dutch courage.
The Dutch courage.
That is a story right there. Wow, that's just mind-blowing. So and now you've extended the range. You've been working with Felice.
Yeah, Felice is known for quality, innovation, beautiful bottles, beautiful spirits. In the beginning, of course, Geneva, our main spirit in the Low Countries. In 1928, they made their first gin. We still have that recipe. We still have that gin.
Exactly.
That's unbelievable. It's almost a 100-year-old recipe.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Wow. It's like, and I don't want to, probably shouldn't say this, but it's like knowing the secret recipe behind the 11 secret herbs and spices of KFC. But in saying that, this is not the sort of drink you'd be having with KFC. Or you could if you're affluential. You can live, you're a grown-up, you can do whatever you like. What gets me though is you've got a really diverse range of products and a diverse range of price points as well. So you've got everything from what I would see competitively in the market when it comes to gin. For a premium quality, you're a premium quality brand at a very affordable price. And right through to this beauty that we've got on the desk in front of us, which is... It's up there. It's a gifting. This is a collector's item.
Absolutely.
And I have it in my presence. I feel I almost want to curtsy being in front of this product because this is extremely special and it's limited edition, is that right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And how many bottles are made in the world?
Well, I think the first year the more distilled around 100 bottles. Now this year it's going to be 200 bottles, I guess.
Maybe,
So we contacted, this is the distiller of that Laird Lindemans gin, right? Yeah. But this is a bottle that he created under his name, his own name. And he worked on that recipe for a very long time. So it's a 200, he starts with a 200 batch gin, which is very limited. But then he collects the best flavors out of 200 liters. So he selects cuts.
During the distillation.
5 times. 5 liters. So that then he blends that as 25 liters, resulting in 36
bottles.
This is,
Wow.
he extract the highest, best flavors, the finest flavors out of a 200-liter batch, which is already an extremely limited batch.
So that's real craftsmanship. We're not going mass market here.
Level.
No.
This is the stuff.
Next
If you're at a hunting lodge, this is the stuff you would sip on.
Absolutely.
This is the stuff that you would buy or gift for an anniversary or a wedding, as an example, or collect, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so it's the best of the best. And I have to show this actually to camera, so we can see the bottle on the screen, but I actually have to show this to the camera. Which camera am I looking at? It comes in this collector's box. Look at that. It's absolutely amazing. Hello to you. Just incredible.
Comes with a glass.
And
as well.
inside, I'm just going to open it up as well. Inside, so that's where the bottle sits, and it comes with a collector's item glass, and there's a bit of the story. Again, it comes back to the story.
Yep.
And I can only imagine that the gin maker there, to be able to dedicate so much of your life to making this incredible product, there must be a story, there must be an absolute passion for maintaining the craftsmanship in a world that is flooded, let's be honest, by mass market products which are okay. This is about the experience, that exceptional level of quality. It's not going out on a Friday night. This is that premium nod to a craftsman. Would that be fair?
Yep. Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I just think that as a craftsman of words, I acknowledge that work. And it's hard when you see this beautiful, I'm going to just show this one to the camera as well again. I'll go to my camera there, or you can see it there. When you see this, she's heavy. It's all hand signed as well. So there's a limited edition number on there. And I just had a smell of it before because I couldn't help myself. Unbelievable. I have never smelt anything like it. It is the sort of product that you would absolutely, I'd gift it to myself, to be fair. But it is that sort of special occasion kind of gift, or the sort of thing that I could see perhaps as a gift from Mercedes or a gift from Bentley. It's that sort of high-end product. Is that kind of where that product sits?
Yeah, absolutely.
Beautiful. I love it. And the quality is extraordinary. And the gift box it goes with is just, seeing it in real life is just remarkable. So for people who have never experienced your brands before and they're looking for something a little bit special at a range of price points, you've got the beer, you've got the gin. What other premium products do you have on your website?
So we've got the Geneva, the mother of the gin, and in 1960s, late 60s, Felice decided in all secrecy to age that Geneva, which is a grain-based alcohol, just like whiskey, to age that on Jim Beam barrels.
Wow.
We do have the oldest barrel-aged Geneva of the world.
Yep.
It is next level bourbon. It has smoothness. It's not as sweet, but it's just delicious. 21 years, 17 years, 12 and 8. 8 is more for in the mix. 21 you drink straight. It's beautiful. And now we've got a very, very limited edition
amount
of
30-year-old.
30-year-old.
Oh my goodness.
The most luxurious box. Yep.
Wow. So anybody who loves bourbon,
next level bourbon,
will love it.
Yeah.
Will love it. I guess too, I know that bourbon and whiskey are quite different drinks, but they're very transferable. Like in the fact that some people will enjoy both, like I do. I can only speak from my own experience, but because what I like is quality.
Yeah.
I like the smooth mouth feel that crafted products have.
Comes in a beautiful box. Comes in a beautiful bottle. It's all
also hand numbered. Only 360 bottles made.
Yeah, but even the 21.
21,
Beautiful bottle.
Yeah. And see, that's what I love too, is the fact that every product has a story. And that's really what I'm all about. So, well, look, thank you so much for the great work that you're doing. And again, people can follow you. They can find you exceptional.flavours. You are on Instagram, I noticed, and you can find you on Facebook as well. You've also got a page on LinkedIn, which I'm happy to see, and your website, exceptionalflavours.co.nz.
Absolutely.
Beautiful. So, all I can say if you're watching, please, first of all, I have to say drink responsibly. And I have to make a disclaimer saying that if you need help, please reach out for help. You know, most importantly, if you're going to have something to enjoy, make sure that you are getting that beautiful crafted product, because we want to make every dining and beverage consuming experience exceptional. I'm Monique Bradley. Thanks for joining me here today on Uncovering Authenticity, the heart and soul behind brands, businesses and people. It's real stories about real people. Thanks for joining me, and thank you to Heidi and to Carl.
Thank you.
I had a moment. Maybe I'm a little dehydrated. All right, thanks guys for coming into the studio. Lovely to chat with you today.
Thank you.
Very much.